The fourth issue. Oh yeah, we got Christmas cheer.
Holidays come once a year. Most joyous time of all.
He's close up on the CD. I don't even think. Good evening. Welcome to Sean's Humble Opinion. I am your humble host, Sean Farley. To my left, my good friend, as always, Travis Becker.
Hello.
Glad you could tune in this evening. Maybe remember us from last time. We had a little Halloween special. And now, with Christmas right around the corner, we figured we'd keep a good thing going and have a little Christmas special. So you see all the little nutcrackers and snowmen and Christmas lights and things like that.
Festive.
So, very festive, Feliz Navidad. Let's see, what should we start off with?
Why don't we tell them where they can get in touch with us?
Yeah, if you want to call in this evening, telephone number is 915-5202. Be here for about an hour. So if you got any Christmas movies, Christmas music, anything Christmassy you want to talk about, please give us a call.
We say something that just makes you mad and you want to yell at us.
And Dan Aykroyd, if you're out there, we know you're watching.
We're gunning for you.
You can. We'll talk about you a little bit later on in the show. But
Dan Aykroyd.
Some updates. Obviously, Sean's Humble Opinion. It's still www.seanshumbleopinion.com, and that's SEAN. But I also have activated a Twitter account. Unfortunately, I couldn't fit Sean's Humble Opinion. I don't know what Twitter was thinking, but it's at Sean's_opinion. So if you want to follow me, it's going to be hard to search for. Apparently, we tried finding it before the show, and
be persistent. Keep at it.
Yeah, it was a task. But follow me on there. Got a little bit of a Christmas joke.
Lay it on me.
Like to start out with. Maybe you may have heard it. I'm not sure. So why did Mrs. Claus finally decide to file for divorce from Santa?
That's tragic news. I don't know why.
She got sick of all of his ho-ho-hos.
Oh, getting us started off the right way.
Should have asked if there was a laugh track because that's pretty. It's pretty sad when
We'll have
nobody
to
laughs.
remember the canned laughter next time.
Yeah,
and the can opener.
Yeah, thank you. One laugh. Like I said, last time we had a little Halloween special that we did. We mentioned Blood at the Beach. Before we get into all our Christmas stuff, I figured we'd do a little recap on that.
Yep.
Pretty good time. I know we ran into what? Zach Galligan.
Zach Galligan
I'm sorry.
from,
I'm
the Gremlins.
Yeah, I'm mistaking him for the eyebrow guy. But Zach Galligan and Gremlins, Christmas movie, sort of. Scary Christmas movie. But I gotta say, not the most approachable guy that we met there.
No, not super engaging, not all that friendly. Of course, we weren't throwing a lot of money his way. So.
No, we weren't. And by the looks of his table, he could have been using some. But also ran into another guy, Zach Ward, who I didn't even realize until after we'd left that he actually played Scut Farkus in A Christmas Story. The bully guy with the red teeth, and they always queued up the Peter Wolf music whenever he showed up or something like that. Yeah, so we didn't really get to meet him, although he was the guy. I don't know if you remember.
We did. We talked to him outside about the hearse.
Yeah, because we were standing next to the hearse, and he came out, and he's like, "Nice hearse." We were just like, "Thank you."
Well, actually, I think the only thing we could think of to say was, "It's not our hearse."
Yeah, it's like, "Thank you, but it's not ours."
He seemed disappointed.
He did, and then he walked around and then never talked to us again. It was like, well, it's not theirs. I don't want to talk to them.
Rule 1, if you're going to a convention like that, bring your hearse.
Yeah, so we mentioned Gremlins before. Just a neat little insight here. I know we were talking about it earlier today. I don't know how well you remember the movie The Goonies, but there's a part where Chunk is calling the sheriff, and he's like, "Hey, I'm at the Fratellis, I really need some help." And the sheriff is like, "Is this like that prank where you called about those little monsters that multiplied when you threw water on them?"
One of those little weird, self-aware 80s things.
Yeah, they're going to tie into the Gremlins. But, of course, Chris Columbus did write both of them, and I found out Steven Spielberg was involved with both of them. So obviously that's a tie-in there.
And Chris Columbus, I think, actually ended up doing the first 2 Harry Potter movies.
Did he?
I'm fairly certain. At least the first one.
You'll have to educate me on those because I watched the first Harry Potter and it was okay. I think I'd like them more now that Daniel Radcliffe's character and everybody's gotten older.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I remember watching the first one a while ago and I don't know. I'll have to get into it. I mean, I like wizards and wizardry and Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, so I guess Harry Potter is the next step.
Yeah, it's a little skewed, a little younger probably than
Yeah.
was ideal for either of us.
Yeah. Oh, and I also wanted to mention that music that you heard on the intro. You may have seen a close-up of the. Let me pick this bad boy up. You probably saw a close-up of it earlier, but that's actually good friends of ours, Justin Lauder, Brian Phelps, and a band Flashlight Tag. This is their Christmas album. I've been listening to it a lot lately. I must be thinking about their I Saw 3 Ships song. Been listening to it a lot. It's great. You can get it on, I think, cdbaby.com. They also have a Facebook page out there, Flashlight Tag. You can look them up. And I know they have a new album coming out that I actually got to do some voice work for. I actually got to portray Abraham Lincoln a little bit for his second inaugural address.
It's in time for the big debut of Richmond here in the Lincoln movie.
But it picked a great time, Oh, Daniel Day-Lewis, he's probably get a Academy Award nod for Best Actor. It's like, Sean, would you like to do Abraham Lincoln? Sure. I mean, not only is it Abraham Lincoln, but now Daniel Day-Lewis. So that's great. But it was a great time. I appreciated them having me out. So look forward to having that. But well, since we started out with kind of kiddie movies, or kiddie movies, Gremlins is kind of intense, but some of the Christmas cartoons, some of our favorites maybe.
Definitely. I'm a huge fan of Christmas animation, and it kind of it bums me out just a little bit now that you really don't get the same anticipation for your Christmas specials every year that you did when we were kids.
No, you don't. I mean, now it's
buy it on DVD, you can get it on demand, it's on cable 17 times before Christmas anyway.
And just the quality is that, well, maybe, I don't know. I go back and watch stuff from when I was younger and I'm like, man, how did I used to like this?
Yeah.
But I don't know. The quality of nowadays, I remember you mentioned like Shrek the Halls. I haven't seen that yet, but it'll never hold a candle to Mickey's A Christmas Carol. I think that's
definitely not.
Our personal favorite. I mean, that's great.
And it's one they don't show anymore, which is disappointing.
I know. I mean, you told me earlier you found it on DVD. I couldn't even believe it was out there.
Yeah, but not in its original format. And the original running order from that special, as I remember it growing up,
and as do I.
As do you. They had several shorts that led into it that all kind of played into the same experience. They had one with Goofy skiing.
Mm-hmm.
They had one with Donald Duck fighting with his nephews, having a snow battle.
Basically trying to kill his nephews.
Yeah, attempting to murder his nephews with solid ice.
Frozen
bombs.
Snow torpedoes.
And then there was Mickey with his Christmas tree, which Chip and Dale had taken up residence in. I guess it was their tree first, and he went and cut it down. And then Pluto's kind of going bonkers over that.
Right. I remember that. And then it led into the Christmas Carol.
To the actual Christmas Carol. I think they did an hour block with that at that point.
Which, if I may be mistaken, I'm not sure. I know that was Ebenezer Scrooge. I don't know if he may have been a Disney character before then. I'm not sure.
I don't recall Scrooge McDuck prior to that.
Okay, because I know that may have launched him to stardom, because I know he went on from there to do talking about him like he's gonna call in later. Hello, Mr. Scrooge.
I think we may have him as a guest next week.
He will be on here, but I know he went on to do DuckTales with Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Which was a great series.
And I think Donald may have cameoed every now and then, I'm not sure. Maybe they actually got the better of him in that snowball war, I'm not sure.
It could be.
But
I'm sure that's where he got the speech impediment.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was kind of weird. It's like, oh, well, all the nephews, let's go live with Uncle Scrooge. I still remember the intro, when he'd be swimming in all his money.
Right.
He had that huge tower of just all these gold coins, like, or solve a mystery. And anyway, okay.
And it's funny that they never show Scrooge actually working hard. He's just very cheap.
Yeah,
that's how he makes his money.
It's like almost like a Donald Trump, but an actual likable guy. So, but anyway, Mickey's Christmas Carol, obviously one of our favorites.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Rudolph, another classic, I guess.
Yeah, that actually goes back before our time, even.
Yeah. Well, okay, yeah, and I'd hope so with the technology they have in that. But
The stop motion.
let's be independent together. That's the one main thing I remember from that movie. I can't remember his name. It's the little nerdy elf guy that wants to be a dentist.
Herbie or something.
Yeah, and he's like Rudolph, after he pulls the big wad of mud off of his nose and can actually speak again. I'm going to be independent. And then he's like, let's be independent together. Well.
And just incidentally, I did pattern my entire look after Yukon Cornelius. So there was that one thing that I pulled from it.
Nice. Let's see. Another personal favorite of mine too. I got to bring it up. We'll go back to the Grinch, but Frosty, probably one of my favorites. Happy birthday! And I don't know why. I like that one a lot. It's great to watch with the kids.
Pretty non-threatening.
Yeah, non-threatening.
One thing I always did wonder about Frosty, and if you watch closely, apparently all of the parents in that day and time in that particular town would send their kids out in coats and boots, but no pants, or short pants at least.
Right.
Which always, it seemed like it would be very cold.
Speaking of pants, going back to Donald Duck, I always thought it was the weirdest thing. Whenever Donald Duck never wore pants, yet the first thing he did when he got out of a shower was wrap a towel around his waist.
Very true. Oh, looks like we have a
caller.
caller.
Oh, we got a call. Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? Hello?
Caller?
Mr. Aykroyd, if you're going to call in, you have to talk. Hello?
Are you there?
Oh, I'm sorry. Try and call back, please.
Some technical difficulties,
Yes.
apparently. Again.
Those zombies are still out there.
We're hoping by season 2 we will have learned how to use the phone.
Yes. all these technical things I don't understand.
Crazy phone machine. Again,
but
that number, if you do want to call back, it's 915-5202.
And if that was you and we just couldn't hear you, please call back again. Love to hear from you. I know we had some friends that were expecting to call in, or we were expecting to call in, so please try again.
We'll give it another shot.
Where were we? Frosty. Talking about Frosty,
right.
and then another great one, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I know it's been made into a live-action movie with
Classic,
Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people didn't like, but I will say at least it's one of those movies I can sit down with my kids. Jim Carrey was, really, if you're gonna have the Grinch in live action form, I don't really think there's anybody else you could have gotten that could have pulled it off. So,
Yeah.
But still the cartoon itself, still one of my favorites. And I know you had some interesting stuff about a misconception that a lot of people have.
Yeah, I guess
singing.
it's gotten to be common knowledge that Boris Karloff of the Universal monster movie fame, he was the original Frankenstein.
I was going to say he's Frankenstein's monster, right?
Yeah, and he was in a bunch of those Universal movies. He actually does the narration throughout that film, the special. But I always thought, growing up, that the same person that did the reading also did the songs, which is not correct. It was actually a different guy who did the singing, which is so distinctive. The You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch.
Right, yeah.
That was
one of the best Christmas songs out there.
Oh, yeah. That was a guy named Thurl Ravenscroft.
Wow.
Which is quite a mouthful.
Yes, it is. That is quite a mouthful. It's kind of funny you mentioned, Boris, and he did Frankenstein and stuff. And I know when they did the live action film, Anthony Hopkins came in and was the narrator.
Oh, okay.
So whoever's behind making Dr. Seuss must have a fascination with creepy people, because you got Frankenstein's monster and then Hannibal Lecter reading about these little children's Christmas movies. So anyway,
I guess it gives the Grinch a little edge.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen next. Maybe they'll make a sequel and Buffalo Bill will come in and narrate that. I'm not sure.
Hope.
The
dance.
Grinch puts the lotion on its skin. But anyway, another good one, Charlie Brown Christmas. I think you were saying that was one of your personal favorites too.
I always liked the Charlie Brown specials.
Do you remember? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but not too many people. Do you remember Charlie Brown or Bon Voyage Charlie Brown? He goes to Paris.
Vaguely.
Yeah. I don't know why that one sticks with me. There was this one scene with Snoopy where the chateau they're staying at catches on fire. So Snoopy goes and he brings back the fire hose and he turns it on and he's just flaring everywhere. It's just, I don't know, one of those things that sticks with me from my memory.
Yeah, I mainly remember the holiday ones, sort of the big three: the Thanksgiving, the Great Pumpkin, and then the Christmas.
Right.
But the Christmas one, was
That's one where he gets the small, pathetic tree, right?
Yeah, and it was. I actually kind of read that there was some cultural influence from that special at the time, because in the '60s when that was made,
Right.
the big trend, I guess, at the time was for aluminum Christmas trees.
Which I have now.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
yeah. I mean, they had them to where you couldn't even put lights on them because it would short it out, and it caused this big disaster. So you had the sparkling needles, and then they would put this little colored disc underneath that would shine the colors up through the tree.
Sounds trippy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
That was
Tron
the
Legacy
60s.
or something, but
But because of the themes in the Charlie Brown Christmas special, where they went back to the simple tree and
that's right. Because
that
when
kind
he's
of thing.
looking at the trees, they're all like these crazy colors
right,
and fancy.
Lucy
schmancy,
tells him
and
to go
then
get
it's
a great big pink one. And
That's right. That's right. I
That-
don't remember the special that well, but I do remember that.
That type of tree really did fall out of favor pretty quickly after that.
Good work, Charlie Brown. It's almost like Morgan Spurlock and him getting
Exactly.
McDonald's to get rid of supersized
Exactly.
meals.
Charlie
Awesome.
Brown reclaimed the natural Christmas tree. So,
There it is, the power of cinema, people.
so if you have beef with Charlie Brown for deforestation, it's legitimate.
Now, if only they could really make life insurance 5 cents. It should be 5 cents.
It should
Anyway,
be.
hopefully somebody gets those commercials. Again, if you're watching, you want to give us a call, that person has a call back. Again, the number is 915-5202. Give us a call. We're talking about Christmas, Christmas music, Christmas movies. We'll get to the music. Christmas stuff, Christmas traditions. If you have a funny tradition that your family does, call in, give us a story. Let's see. Another one, I got to bring this up just because my daughter said I needed to mention it during our Halloween special. And she's right. Who would have thunk that we would have done a Halloween special and now a Christmas special? But The Nightmare Before Christmas, it just transcends.
It's a
'cause
good bridge for those
It's
two.
Halloween
Yeah.
and now Christmas.
Christmas.
So I'll give props to my daughter on that one. So good job, Corinne.
Pretty impressive piece of film by Tim Burton.
Yeah,
It's-
honestly I watched 10 minutes of it. I couldn't get into it. I think about the only what is it, stop motion or whatever.
Yeah.
I watched Paranorman the other day,
Yeah.
and that was pretty good. I know I don't think that's Tim Burton at all, but it was
Same
pretty
sort
good.
of style, but yeah, I think.
Yeah, I know he's got Frankenweenie out, and I'll check that out when that comes out. But no, I just never got into it. Not that I'm against it. I don't know. But
It's one of those ones where it's easy to kind of get lost looking in it, but
Mhm.
just kind of staring at it. But it does kind of unfold slowly
Right,
as you're
right.
watching it. It can
Takes-
be a little bit of a.
definitely
Oh.
interesting though, because
Oh,
I know
yeah.
he did that, Corpse Bride, and there was another big one. I think
Like
Coraline. Coraline was along that.
I think that
line,
was the
right?
same people that did Paranorman. I think.
Oh,
that-
okay,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, I think you're right. I think they mentioned that before the movie started. And I don't know if anybody's even going to remember this movie. My wife says she hated it. It freaked her out. But Santa Claus the movie, older one. Dudley Moore, John Lithgow were in it. John Lithgow is like the corporate bigwig that wants to create all these toys and stuff. And
I'm freaked out already.
yeah, Dudley Moore plays an elf, and he's like the funniest part of the whole thing. But he creates like this lollipop that you can eat, and it actually makes you fly because he snuck out some of the magic dust that Santa feeds his reindeer. Have you seen this movie?
This is
Or
all
am I
new-
just
new to
completely?
me.
It's all new and just completely off.
I'm just imagining John Favreau furiously taking notes during this and say, "How can I rip this off?"
Yeah, for real. But no, that was always just a favorite of mine. And it's also, I mean, another backstory is like this rich young girl, and she befriends like this homeless young boy, and they become friends. And at the end, they move to the North Pole or something. So
All right.
anyway, it's a Christmas movie. It always stuck with me. The guy that played Santa, he also plays the Big Lebowski in The Big Lebowski. Not Jeff
yeah.
Bridges, but the Big Lebowski.
Right. Yeah.
He actually played Santa in that movie, and he was just perfect. So, let's see. Some other Christmas movies we can get into. Kind of a 180 from the family-friendly cartoon genre. The action movie tie-in kind of thing.
Actually, as a bridge to that, I don't know if sticking with animation just briefly, I was going to mention the Seth MacFarlane show, American Dad.
That's right. That's right.
I've been impressed over the last few years with the Christmas specials they put out. Not every show does a Christmas episode anymore, but they've done one consistently every year, I think, for the last 5 or 6 seasons.
Right. Now, does Family Guy do one too, or mainly
They've
American
done
Dad?
some, but American Dad's the one that does it every year now.
Gotcha.
And they're kind of doing with Christmas episodes what The Simpsons did with the Halloween episodes in
Nice.
the early 90s with the Treehouse of Horror stuff. They
Mhm.
really go all out for their Christmas episodes, and they
Did you-
kind of fall outside the normal timeline of the show to where weird stuff can happen and it doesn't affect
Right.
it week to week.
Right. Nice. Because I don't get to watch American Dad or Family Guy as much as I'd like to. I used to watch Family Guy all the time. A buddy of mine, Scott, had them all on DVD, and I just watched them all.
Yeah.
And I watched some of American Dad. You actually say, it, in your opinion, it might even be superior to Family Guy.
Personally, I think a couple of years ago it surpassed Family Guy
Oh, yeah?
in terms
Yeah.
of being a better quality show. Maybe that's just me, but
No, hey,
Um,
he seems to have a thing with weird creatures having the ability to speak and interact with people. Because I know
Right.
what Family Guy is obviously the dog Brian,
and the baby.
yeah,
dog.
and Stewie, yeah, who never ages, but neither do the Simpsons. So
Right.
And then what American Dad, he has like an alien that stays in the attic or
He has an
something,
alien
right?
in the attic, and then they have a fish who's actually the brain of an East German that was transplanted by the CIA into a fish. And
Did not know that tidbit of information, but
Yep.
that sounds interesting. Because the dad in the show is like a CIA guy or
Right.
something, right? He's
Yeah.
got like the big jaw. And
Exactly.
Definite 180 from Peter Griffin's character.
exactly, yeah, it's the much more of a sort of the upper middle class.
An American Dad, all American Dad.
Yeah,
Well,
I guess for us in Virginia, he's the Northern Virginia guy.
Yeah.
That's where it takes place. It's a made-up place called Langley Falls, but it's supposed to be in Northern Virginia somewhere.
Reminds me of this guy that I was in the military with, Lieutenant Heron. I mean, we always just called him the Tick behind his back because he had like no neck, this huge jaw, and he's just brr. Although in reality, I guess more dads are kind of like Peter Griffin. I know I am personally. I'm
getting
trying to hide it as best I can, but
I
you
need
know.
to pick up a pair of green pants.
But let's see. Oh, the American Dad never reminded me of something else I was going to talk about. It was the Star Wars specials with Family Guy, but anyway, come back to that later.
Right.
It left me. But the action movie tie-in, we were talking about some movies. It's kind of weird. I guess in the 80s there was a trend of like, hey, let's do an action movie, but let's center it around Christmas time when everyone's happy.
That way we can release it during the holiday season and make a bunch of money off it if we
Yeah.
miss the summer release.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I already the first one I thought of was Lethal Weapon, just because I know the opening credits have Jingle Bell Rock, and then that all takes place during Christmas. And then, I mean, you have Mel Gibson's character at a tree lot making a drug deal. Of course, he was undercover.
Right.
But anyway, that's one. Die Hard. They actually took it a step further. 1 and 2 both took place during
Right.
Christmas. So.
Yeah. At the second one at the airport, I guess.
You know, I
during Christmas.
could not believe that Die Hard 1 was Alan Rickman's first movie. Hans Gruber, the villain.
Pretty impressive for
Yeah.
a first role.
Absolutely. I mean, and of course we all remember, you know, the terrorist comes down, or well, they end up being thieves, they're not terrorists, and Alan Rickman's deep voice, he's like, "Now I have a machine gun." Ho, ho, ho.
Classic.
It's just, I mean, that lasts with me forever. So,
And the fine British actor doing a spot-on German accent.
yeah. Well, actually, it was kind of funny.
And an American accent during the course of that movie as well.
That's exactly where I was going, because apparently they were joking around on set or something, and Alan Rickman just busted into this perfect American accent, and the writers or creators or whoever was like, "That's perfect. We need to fit this into film somehow." We were trying to figure out how John McClane and Hans Gruber would actually meet face to face, but not know who each other like kind of let on.
Right.
So, yeah.
I remember that part confusing me a little bit because I thought that Rickman's portrayal of the American accent was so spot on, and his little using the nickname Bill instead of William.
Bill Clay.
Right. And I was like, how did he know that he wasn't really him?
Yeah, I know. I mean, they never really show how Bruce Willis knew.
Give us how he deduced that, because I sure couldn't tell. I wouldn't have been able to tell.
I'm guessing there was that scene with the shirt. Ho, ho, ho. Bruce Willis is kind of looking down the grate. He might be able to see Hans or something. I don't know. He probably saw a picture of him or something. I don't know. Still
Maybe,
a good movie.
I mean, maybe he met Bill at some point prior to that.
Yeah, that is true too. Maybe he met Clay. Bill Clay.
Exactly.
Okay, sorry. We could just go through all the one-liners in the movie now. So another one, not exactly the best movie, and I'm not saying that because Ben Affleck's in it, but
Didn't help.
no, it didn't. But Reindeer Games. I will admit, the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. But then I went back and watched it again. I was like, okay, this is really kind of corny.
Who's that?
Charlize Theron?
Who's the director?
Oh, man.
It's not Richard Donner, is it?
I hope not. I hope he didn't go from Lethal Weapon.
I think I'm just thinking because Donner was the name of one of the reindeer, and it was Reindeer Games.
There you go. And he also did, I know he did Lethal Weapon, and then, I think Lethal Weapon, and then John Frankenheimer.
There we go.
Just popped in our heads. Thank you, cloud of wisdom. But what was I saying? About Richard Donner, because I know he did Lethal Weapon. Pretty sure he did Lethal Weapon. I know he did Goonies. So
Right.
Two very different genres there, and he also did.
Has he done anything lately? Is he alive?
I don't know.
Richard Donner, if you're out there,
Richard,
give us a call.
If you're sitting next to Dan Aykroyd looking for work, give us a call. Again, the number's 915-5202. I was trying to think if he did Snake Eyes, but I think that's Brian De Palma, somebody completely different.
Right, did Carlito's Way and Scarface.
I remember Snake Eyes because he has this awesome like opening scene where it's like 18 minutes long, and I was like, that's like the best Steadicam shot ever. Then I found out it was like actually 7 different shots that he edited really well together.
Speaking of Steadicam shots, not to just bounce around here, but I just watched Swingers the other night again with Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn.
Skinny Jon Favreau.
Right, skinny Vince Vaughn. I had never noticed before when they're in the restaurant, they're talking about the Steadicam shot in Goodfellas.
Yeah,
and then they do almost duplicate the exact shot when they go to the club to see the band.
Because they do something like that with Reservoir Dogs, where they're talking about the opening scene and they're all walking in their black suits.
Right.
And then later on, it's like their group and they do like a very similar shot. But yeah.
I'm slow, so it takes me time to pick these things up. You usually have to watch a movie about 10 times before I feel like I've seen everything in it.
But, well, I mean, I always consider, myself the guy behind the guy behind the guy. If anybody watched Swingers, you'll get that reference.
And then usually after I watch it, I overuse the word money.
Money and
a couple
baby.
of weeks at least.
I don't care if I hook up with her or one of her beautiful baby friends. I was like, okay, Vince Vaughn, you can stop saying baby now. Ron Livingston before Office Space. Crazy.
We have a caller.
We have another caller.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Let's hope. Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color?
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, Corinne. How are you?
Good.
What are you doing?
Calling you.
On your show.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. Do you have a question?
No, you just told me to call you.
Well, no, I didn't. I said nothing of the sort.
You want to bet?
Give me an Elf one-liner.
What?
Something from Elf, the movie Elf.
6-inch ribbon. Oh, man, I forgot what...
Oh, you're messing it up. I'm disappointed. I'm going to hang up on you. Come on, give me a good one-liner. Is there sugar and syrup?
No, it's the Elf 4 main food groups. Candy canes, candy corn, and syrup.
There we go.
Is there sugar and syrup? Yes. Then yes.
Yes.
So
I'll tell you, every time I've had spaghetti since I saw that movie, I put Pop-Tarts in it.
And syrup. Okay, well, thanks for calling in. Did you have any other Christmas movies we need to talk about?
Don't forget the Charlie Brown Christmas. Mommy wanted me to tell you that.
Yeah, we already talked about that one.
We covered that.
We've covered that. Anything else?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Well, I'll see you when I get home or later on, sometime.
Okay.
Okay. Love
Bye.
you. Bye. Bye. That was my daughter, Corinne Farley. I didn't tell her to call in. Actually, I did. Anyway.
You too could call in
at
915-5202.
Please, don't let my daughter be the only caller. So, normally her and I can go back and forth for maybe an hour with Elf one-liners. So
I think she was nervous. Or you were nervous.
She was, I think we were both a little nervous. So, but
we know the phone works.
Yeah, the phone does work. Thank you. And let's see, another action movie, Batman Returns. This takes place there on Christmas, but I don't think any of them hold a candle to the most violent Christmas movie in history.
Yeah, it packs. The body count may be smaller, but the brutality is
not just
off
and
the
they didn't
charts.
limit it to just one film.
Right. They spread it out over a veritable franchise.
Right. So obviously we're talking about...
And also one of the most popular Christmas films of all time, which shows what a
Yeah.
sadistic nation we've become.
Yes,
I
definitely.
suppose.
I mean, it's that whole coyote fascination. Oh, I hope he falls off a cliff. But
Right.
obviously, we're talking about Home Alone.
Home Alone.
I only saw 1 and 2. I know there's I think there's 5 of them.
At least
But
3. 4?
I want to say 5. Maybe there's 4. Thank you, Cloud of Wisdom again.
There may be a reboot. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I remember watching that movie, and I mean, I still crack up every time in the first one when Kevin McAllister is slowly easing the BB gun out of the doggy door, and Joe Pesci doesn't even see it, and then the shot is fired, and all you hear is Joe Pesci's "Oh shit!" Oh.
So many cringe-worthy moments from that
There
movie.
are so
where-
many moments where it's like, okay, they'd be dead. I mean, he's throwing bricks off a 5-story building.
I mean, when Daniel Stern is sneaking in the lower story window and he steps on the strategically placed glass Christmas ornaments on the hardwood floor.
I've always found that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think you could just naturally cut that scene into Hostel, and it would be perfectly.
Yeah, you probably could. And I mean that, and then the whole nail in the foot, and it only goes like maybe that much, but just the way he screamed. And I got to give props to Kevin McAllister for strategically setting it up in a way where he knew his shoes would be off by that point. So,
Clever.
Yeah, very, very genius.
Very
But,
advanced for a
let's see.
9-year-old or
Yeah.
whatever old you're supposed to be.
What were some of the other ones? The iron in the face, obviously.
The blowtorch on the hat.
Yeah, the blowtorch.
You can see like the polyester fibers melted to his head.
That one. And then I know the second one. The creators of the first one obviously knew they had some gold in just that sequence. That's why I think the second one, it's like 30 minutes long of them just getting the crap basically beat out of them.
Really, I remember when I went to see that movie being bored out of my mind until they started with the brutalizing of the crooks. And
Oh
then,
no, he shoplifted a toothbrush. Okay, I don't care. I
And
wanna see something.
really, every time after that I watched it, I was pretty much just tapping my foot for the.
Yeah, for the micro machine scene, and it's
Yeah.
like, and then I mean the second one though, it was like, okay, we need to get Kevin into a huge abandoned building and just create a wall. I mean, it's like Dexter kind of stuff. I mean, it's like, but
It's like Saw.
yeah, it really is. I mean, I was half expecting Macaulay Culkin to come out and be like, live or die, your choice.
You know, just age-wise, I've never considered this before, but Macaulay Culkin would be about right for Jigsaw.
Yeah, there's a
there.
tie-in right there. Home Alone, Saw 7. But who knows? Maybe that'll happen.
All these movies are interconnected.
Yeah, I'm sure he could use the work. I haven't seen him in anything lately.
No.
But anyway,
I'm sure
I did see pictures of him. He looks like 100 pounds soaking wet. I don't know if he's just,
It's all the heroin.
yeah, maybe. But
I don't know that for a fact.
no, it's speculation. Let's see. Okay, my favorite, probably my favorite Christmas movie out there, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I always come back to it. Just cracks me up all the time. I know they made a sequel, Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure. I never really tuned in for that. I never even checked that out. But
Here's in Cousin Eddie's Fugitive Canadian Adventure.
yeah, for real. Don't come back. Or what is he? He got deported. No, he ran up to Canada because he was squatting, and now it's
It was
like,
tax issues.
is it?
Wasn't it?
Yeah,
Something
I know him and his wife were squatting at some point. I don't because they were broke.
And not because the show was full.
Yeah. There's a great scene. Actually, you can go to the blog, www.seanshumbleopinion.com. I recently just did a post on Christmas Vacation, and I think the funniest scene in a Christmas movie ever when he's emptying his RV waste tank into the
chemical
public
toilet.
sewage. Yeah, just great. But I know you were saying earlier one of your favorites, and I did think it was funny. I've only seen it once, so I can't reference it that much, but Bad Santa.
Very darkly funny.
Yeah.
But
Not exactly a Christmas spirit movie, right? Well,
No,
I guess
no.
at the end, kind of, but
I guess it kind of redeems itself
Yeah.
eventually, but
it takes a while to get there.
it's one of those things where it's just funny seeing Billy Bob Thornton interact with this sort of out there kid.
Yeah, I felt sorry for that kid in like real life. I was like, I mean, this kid's in a funny movie, but man, he's gonna get so bullied when he gets older.
I think isn't that Jonah Hill? Didn't he grow up to be Jonah Hill?
I don't know if it is.
Brief-
Props to Jonah Hill for losing all that weight.
I don't think so for real.
No, I know, but I do remember the funny scene in the movie is just it's just the camera on the escalator, and I'm like, okay, they're filming an escalator. I don't understand. And then it's like just his hand comes up and he's just laying there. So, like, I don't know if he's drunk or hungover or both, because I mean he doesn't do anything but drink in the entire movie. But
yeah, a pretty sexy turn by the girl from Gilmore Girls. I forget her name.
I wish I could help you on that one. I don't remember her name, but
I don't remember, but that's it.
Lauren Graham.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Cloud of Wisdom.
Yeah, it was a much more entertaining role for me than
Gilmore Girls,
which I disavow watching.
No, it's okay. No. I mean,
nobody talks like
if
that.
you're a regular of Gilmore Girls, that's cool.
I constantly mock that show to my wife because
I used to watch
nobody actually talks like that.
I used to watch Real Housewives of Orange County all the time. In fact, I still would if I could figure out when it was on. So if there's anybody out there that knows when it's on, 915-5202.
Didn't they move to Atlanta?
Yeah, they got one in Atlanta and Orange County, Atlanta. I think there's New York and all, but Orange County's the best.
Okay.
But
that's a plastic surgery out there.
That's why it's the best. Wait, no. It's an interesting show. I watch it with my wife all the time. It's great.
Anyway, I think we're getting far afield here. Where were we?
Yes. Let's see. Elf. We talked about Elf earlier. I mean, some of the best one-liners out there. Like, I mean, I could probably just go off 20, 30 minutes. Have you seen the size of these toilets? They're ginormous.
I saw an episode of that show used to be on Independent Film Channel that Jon Favreau did called Dinner for Five.
Are you telling me about that?
Basically, it was the cast of Elf. It was Will Ferrell, James Caan, Mary Steenburgen, and he was in it, but I don't think he was in.
Was it Billingsley, the guy that played Ralphie in the original Toy Story?
No,
maybe the kid. Anyway,
it doesn't matter. There was another one, but it was really funny because James Caan actually was.
Was it? I'm sorry.
He was the one that was really the funniest throughout the thing, and Will Ferrell was really reserved. I don't know if they planned that and did it on purpose, but
was it perhaps Peter Dinklage?
It was not. It would have been nice if it would have been.
Infamous role of Miles Finch. Who?
It was the new girl. One of the Deschanels.
Zoe.
Zoe Deschanel.
Was it Zoe or what's her?
Emily's the Bones one, so it was Zoe, I think.
Whoever's on the new girl,
right?
Right. Or Zoe.
Zoe.
It's one of the Deschanels.
Yeah.
One of them.
It was one of them. But she hadn't really done much work at that point. I think Elf was her third movie, maybe.
Nice.
So
I know she can sing too. She actually has on the Elf soundtrack. She does. Unfortunately, it wasn't Will Ferrell on the Elf soundtrack that sang, "Baby, it's cold outside."
Right. Yeah.
It's like, I didn't know you were naked in the shower. It's like that whole scene. But let's see, Elf. That goes into our Elf 2 concept.
Right.
We came up with
really your brainchild. I kind of helped you.
Came up with a very interesting concept for an Elf sequel, which will probably never happen, but it could definitely star the guy from Drop Dead Fred as Buddy the Elf.
Definitely. Because
it'll be a straight-to-DVD, release.
Yeah, we've not gotten a lot of interest from Favreau or Ferrell's camp.
But, okay, so basically it's, you remember how Buddy or Will Ferrell was calling Miles Finch an elf in the first one? He's like, oh, he's an angry elf. So I guess our idea was we actually end up making Miles Finch an elf that had left the North Pole before Buddy had come up there. Like, he just got sick of doing all this work and never really reaping any of the benefits. He kept getting passed over for Master Tinker. Right. So he decided to come to New York and started writing all these children's books. He kind of has a humbug mentality, but he also has the gift to write these books that children really love. And what was it? He decides to take revenge on Buddy and Buddy's dad, who have opened up their new publishing firm.
Right, their own book publishing
firm. They had their own book. What did we call it? Santa's Got a Brand New Bag was going to be their book that was coming out,
which we stole from his manager
at
Gimbel's, because that was the code word.
Yeah, that's right. Reach me on Channel 8. Code word is Santa's Got a Brand New Bag, which is really long. I'd rather just hear, "Yo, you're in trouble." But
seems like going around the outhouse.
Yeah. So, and then I forget how the end was, but it was basically like, he had to work. It was like he wanted to overcome his humbuggedness or what have you, and actually ended up helping Buddy and his dad with the book or something like that.
Somehow they saved Christmas. There's redemption.
We were going to flesh it out. So anyway, but that's our Elf 2 concept. So Will Ferrell, Jon Favreau,
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan. Oh, another call.
There's Dan now.
Okay, here we go. Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color?
Oh, jeez, black.
Oh, black? Black's your favorite color?
Yeah.
So how are you doing? You got a question? What can we do for you?
Oh, yeah, I wanted to just make sure I had heard if you had include Ernest E. Wardle, the one he starred in, as far as one-liners.
Ernest Saves Christmas?
Yeah. Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, that is a good one. I didn't even think about that.
I'm just thinking as you would count for Elf the one-liners and stuff. I think that's probably going to be real close to the count of. I mean, it's got some great one-liners in it. The whole.
I got to tell you, my favorite Ernest movie, though. I mean, I know he did a Christmas one, but Ernest Scared Stupid, I think is probably one of my favorite.
Halloween was the best spinoff.
Yeah.
It wasn't about Christmas. It was the best spinoff show.
I think
absolutely.
Definitely.
That one, and what else did he do? Ernest Scared Stupid.
Ernest
Goes to
the other one sucked.
Ernest Goes to Camp was the first one.
Yeah, Ernest Goes to Camp. That was the first one. That was classic.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, Ernest Saves Christmas. I completely forgot about that one. So, well, hey, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
All right.
All right, cool. Hey, we got a caller, and it wasn't my daughter.
Now I feel bad that we didn't get Ernest Scared Stupid on our Halloween special.
I know. So. God, we overlooked Ernest. Let's see, did he do any others?
There's a
Ernest
space
Goes to
one.
Jail and Camp.
Isn't there a space one? Ernest Goes to...
I don't know.
Ernest Saves Mars or something?
We'll do a summer special. And we'll set up some camping stuff.
All right.
And we'll do Ernest Goes to Camp. Because I do remember that. That was my favorite.
I think that was his first... That was when he transitioned from just the commercials to the actual films.
Yeah, I do remember that because they had that song by the Turtles.
And Jim Varney got rest of soul.
Yeah, I know. That was sad.
Good stuff.
But, well, thanks again for calling in.
Yeah,
that was great. I can't believe we overlooked that, but I'm sure we may have overlooked some others. You know, there's so many out there right now.
Well, that's why we're taking calls at 915-5202. If we forgot anything else, let us know.
Yeah, so I know we talked about Home Alone 1 and 2. Another good one, though, follows along the storyline you said is probably one of your favorites, Scrooged.
Yeah.
Based on A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I mean, I love the base story, The Christmas Carol. It's you know, one of the most timeless Christmas stories, done by Charles Dickens way back. But Bill Murray's take as the the power-hungry young TV executive. It was just a good turn on that, I thought.
We keep coming back to Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd. I know during the Halloween one it was Ghostbusters.
That's true.
And now it's Scrooged. I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of weird. Everything adds up to 23.
Well, Bill Murray, he just has a direct line to my funny bone.
Oh, watch! You're about to find out who you're gonna call. You dog. Anyway, sorry, a little Zombieland stuff there. But yeah, Scrooge. It was so funny. I still remember the opening scene where he's just got that dark commercial where it's like Scrooge. What is it like? Highway murders or something. It's like, I want them to be so scared that they have to watch or something like that.
Be scared not to watch.
Yeah, but that was definitely a funny movie. That was great. It has both his brothers in it.
I'm going to mess up her name. It's Karen
Allen. Yeah.
From Raiders of the Lost Ark as his girlfriend.
Yep, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Starman. And then she really kind of dropped off the map for a while.
I heard that she had retired for a spell before she came back to do the last Indiana Jones.
I heard she was running a dress store or something like that.
Good for her.
I mean, I'm not sure. But it's like that other girl that we were talking about, Shelley Duvall.
Right.
She kind of became a recluse.
Oh, yeah, from The Shining.
Yeah, The Shining, Olive Oil, and Popeye and all that stuff. So.
Well, she played that was the role she was born to play. I guess she figured, where do I go from Olive Oil?
I know. I mean, I played Olive Oil. I mean, nothing else for me to do, really.
Maybe she was trying to put on some weight. Like she just went into seclusion, started hitting creatine and
just started eating. But another big franchise. Well, 1 and 2 were okay. The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. I know when the first one came out, it was pretty funny. The second one was funny. The third one, I like Martin Short, but man, when he came in as Jack Frost, the franchise seemed to kind of be like, well, let's
whenever they bring in the villain. Same thing happened with, not to draw too fine a parallel, but with the Shrek movies and the third one, the fourth one, when they brought in that.
I think even by the third one, it was like, Shrek 1 and 2 were good, but by now it's like, come on now.
When the Santa Claus came out, Tim Allen was really mining the fame he was getting from whatever that show
Home Improvement. Yeah.
And by the third or fourth, whatever the last one was, that show probably was already over. So
I think
nobody cared about Tim Allen.
I think Jonathan Taylor Thomas took a similar approach because I know he was in a movie, I'll Be Home for Christmas,
right.
which I never saw. I don't think anybody did. except maybe his family, unless you've seen it.
No.
Have you seen it?
No.
I read that it wasn't that great, so.
Last I heard, I think he went to Harvard or something, didn't he?
Oh, I'm not sure. I know he left the show. Although I do share a birthday with him.
Oh, well,
September 8th. It's Jonathan Taylor Thomas's birthday and my birthday, so I can't. It may be the same year too, which is really scary. So
that's scary.
But anyway, dating myself.
81.
81. That might be my year. I don't want to tell everybody how old I am, so because they'll be like, man, he looks older than that. But anyway, if you're out there watching, give us a call. 915-5202. We got one loyal fan. He already called in. Thank you for bringing up Ernest P. Worrell. Ernest P. Worrell. Let's see. Santa Claus leads into Fred Claus. I don't know if anybody's seen this, but I don't know how so many actors can get together and make such a bad movie. I mean, it's nothing but trouble with Chevy Chase and Demi Moore and
that was a disaster.
Dan Aykroyd. But yeah, Fred Claus, Vince Vaughn, chubbier Vince Vaughn now. Who else is in it? Paul Giamatti, Kevin Spacey, Rachel Wise is in it. He plays Kathy Bates is in it. I know she had won an Oscar for Misery.
I think by Fred Claus' time, Vince Vaughn was actively just peddling his shtick from movie to movie.
Cashing his check.
Exactly. Like
pulling a Ben Affleck kind of thing.
I made a comedy last month with this character. Let's see if I can do it in a romantic comedy, and I will do it in a Christmas movie, and I will do it in a Western. And
it's basically Vince Vaughn playing Vince Vaughn.
Right.
I mean, Jack Nicholson.
You get the impression that he's probably just like that in real life.
Yeah, he probably is. But I was a little disappointed with it, and it's kind of sad, too, because Paul Giamatti I thought was pretty funny as Santa, but it was just, I don't know, one of those. And then it segues right into Four Christmases, another...
this one I don't remember as well.
It's Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon.
Right, okay.
And
they're going to their different families.
Actually, yeah, now that I bring it up, it's they got some pretty good actors in this, too. Robert Duvall's in it, Mary Steenburgen from Elf, Reese Witherspoon, Vince Vaughn.
Well, there was a period there from the late 90s to the mid 2000s where if you were going to make a Christmas movie and have it get any kind of reviews, you had to have like 17 different British actors in it.
For real. And all these British actors playing American characters nowadays. But it's funny, we were talking about Swingers. The guy, I can't remember his name. He's the confrontational one in Swingers. Sue, that's right, boy named Sue. He's in Four Christmases, and the whole relationship is kind of funny because he's one of Vince Vaughn's good friends, but he's actually dating Vince Vaughn's mother. So it's just that awkward, like, well, we used to be friends until you started sleeping with my mom.
Maybe that's where I stole that idea.
Yeah. What's that?
For the one we were going to put together. I think I had that idea.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to get into that. Our movie Season's Greetings, which unfortunately will be coming out next year sometime. So, but if you got any other crazy Christmas movies out there that we haven't mentioned yet, we're still working on a list. 915-5202. Next one we'll get into. I know, as I mentioned earlier, the band Flashlight Tag, my friend Justin Lauder's in it. One of his personal favorites, I know, Jingle All the Way, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he must get a Turbo Man doll for his son, who actually played Anakin Skywalker in Episode 1, Phantom Menace. So, Jake Lloyd. But
Is that the same kid?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? He doesn't do anything now. I think all he does is go to Star Wars conventions and sign autographs.
And try not to get punched out, probably.
Yeah, so... Although Turbo Man, he looks just like Iron Man, doesn't he? I mean, if you're in the movie...
Same colors.
Yeah, I mean, same colors and everything. So, obviously not the best Christmas movie out there. I mean, Arnold doing comedy.
Not a bad idea, though. I had something to say about the trend it's still going on, I guess. But
I know when
the supply and demand thing, where they just didn't make enough of the hot toy for Christmas, so you had people
just like
fist fighting over stuff.
Just like the damn Daryl Dixon doll for the God, I keep saying that action figure for The Walking Dead. I had to go to freaking Maryland to find one. Luckily, I was visiting my dad, and I just stopped in GameStop. But yeah, they just didn't make enough of them.
That's exactly the way that went, too. It wasn't the other way around.
Yeah.
You weren't going to get the action figure and just...
That is right.
Well,
I'm visiting my dad. I might as well stop in here.
We'll see.
Sean, we don't want to see you this weekend. I'm coming to see you. But I think, I guess it kind of played off that whole, what was it, when Cabbage Patch Dolls came out in the 80s
That's
or
the first
something?
one I remember with
Yeah,
that, where
that
it was really
huge-
a big issue.
People fighting over it and stuff like that. But
Babies with tattoos.
yeah, on their butt,
On
right?
their butts, yes.
I can't remember. Anyway, Jingle All the Way. Oh, it also reunited Arnold and James Belushi. They played in Red Heat together, another 80s
Oh, right,
movie.
right.
Yeah, where he was cops and like, he was from Arnold was from Russia, and then James Belushi was, I think it was Chicago they were in. He was like this hardened Chicago cop, and they had to partner up and chase down this Russian drug lord or something.
It's
So-
interesting you mentioned that movie particularly, and this story doesn't have any particular point, but
No?
when I was, I remember
Those are often the most interesting, though.
I remember as a kid that we had that movie Red Heat, and we also had a movie called Dead Heat, which, thinking back, I'm almost positive that my parents just bought it by mistake, thinking it was the other movie.
And then they had to go out and get the other movie. Like,
Right.
And now it's like, well, we have both Heats, so we'll just keep them. Dead
Right.
Heat. I'm trying to remember.
But
That
they were
sounds
always-
so familiar.
I know, I can't remember what it was about. I don't think I
feel
ever watched it.
Like Don Johnson's in it. Maybe that's Dead Bang. Anyway, 80s action movies. Stay tuned because there's going to be a whole episode devoted to those.
Just you wait.
Yeah, please. It's going to be a testosterone-filled episode. So, anyway, next, Deck the Halls. We talked about that one earlier with Quentin. Was it Matthew Broderick, Danny DeVito? It's one of those things where Danny DeVito moves into the neighborhood. My kids love the movie. I think
It's the
just-
house decorating.
Yeah, I think it's just because of the house with all the lights. But
You're doing a pretty good job at your old homestead with that.
a little bit. Okay, you can
I wish-
find me on Facebook and look for
I
it.
wish we had a picture, but
Yeah,
it
we
was
don't.
impressive.
Unfortunately,
It's a good
we
looking-
don't want to blind the audience with all the lights.
Just go to Google Earth and
Yeah.
punch
you
up
can
the
see
address and you can
can
see it
it
from
from space. It's kind of funny too because we got this used like this old reindeer and sleigh and stuff. It's all made of wood. And the only Santa we had was not much bigger than this snowman here. I mean, he's like that big. So it's like this huge sleigh and little Santa. I mean, he's not even tall enough to be an elf in the darn thing. But
it's just leaving more room for toys.
yeah, that's true. That's
You
true.
gotta have the payload.
Yeah, that's true. And the house, I mean, I couldn't imagine doing the house and Deck the Halls by myself. I don't even want to imagine doing it for the movie. I mean, they probably had to hire so many people just to do that.
But
But
then that's the other scene from Christmas Vacation, of course, where he's stapling the lights to the roof and falling off, and then
Yeah.
they won't light. And
yeah, and then I guess what is it? Beverly D'Angelo finally discovers or realizes, if I flip this switch, they will come on.
right,
But let's see. Another one I know my kids like to watch, and Tim Allen milking the Christmas cookies, eating all his Christmas cookies just like Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
Christmas with the Cranks.
it looks like both of them have been hitting the Christmas cookies pretty hard
Yeah,
too.
yeah, they have. I can speak from experience on that. But Christmas with the Cranks actually inspired me. Hopefully one day or 1 year I can do that too. They just decided to skip Christmas and go on a cruise.
That's right, because their kids are grown up and
Yeah,
gone.
like their daughter is gone off to college, and it's like, well, let's go on a cruise. And the one part I don't agree with this, hopefully it doesn't make me sound like a jerk, but if at the last minute my daughter was like, I'm coming home, I know I told you that I didn't plan on that, but I'm coming home, I would not drop everything I was doing and be like, oh, we have to have a Christmas party. I'd be like, sorry, we're going on a cruise.
Keys in the fake rock in the garden.
Yeah, I mean,
Enjoy.
they have the house, Oh, you have your boyfriend with you? I don't really care. I'm going on a cruise. Thank you. But
I'm sure those tickets are non-refundable too.
yeah, well, he ends up giving them to his neighbor and all that stuff, and his wife has cancer, so that's good. Now I really sound like a jerk. Like he gives the tickets to his neighbor who has cancer.
Since you put it that way.
Sean still would have gone though. But anyway, it's a funny movie. It's pretty good. Getting out of the
Those are more the 80s to modern Christmas movies.
so some classics out there. I don't know too much about them. I have a bone to pick with one of them, but I'll get into that one in a second. I know, like you were saying, your favorite storyline when it comes to Christmas time is Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
And, well, maybe you can tell, you
Well,
know a little bit more about that than I do.
There's been tons and tons of adaptations of A Christmas Carol. I mean, since the silent era, really. A couple of the big ones you see, there's a British version from the 50s with Alastair Sim. which is quite good.
Who, by the way, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you
No,
off,
good.
but Joe Lamont, if you're watching, I know that's your favorite, so I'll give you a shout out to that. I know we were talking about this one earlier, and A Bishop's Wife. There you go,
There you
shout
go.
out.
It's mentioned. There's an older one, I think, with Reg Owen that's...
In the 30s, right?
the
Is that
30s.
the one from the 30s? From
Yeah, that one's...
MGM?
There's actually... The Scrooge character, they actually put him in fairly heavy makeup for that one, and it kind of makes it a little awkward for me. My favorite, though...
It's like The Hobbit.
Yeah. Let's not get into that yet.
Yeah.
But my favorite, it was actually produced for the... during the 80s, they had something called the Hallmark Hall of Fame. It
A
was
television movie?
TV movies.
Right.
They did one with George C. Scott as Scrooge.
Patton.
Exactly, and he's so spot on as Scrooge. The set pieces are great. The production values are great. It's easily my favorite version.
Yeah.
Nope, and we have a caller.
Oh, another call. Sean's humble opinion.
Hey, Sean, this is Brian.
Hey, Brian, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Unfortunately, I can't watch the show right now, but I wanted to call in and talk about Santa Conquers the Martians.
Santa Conquers the Martians.
All right.
It is the absolute best Christmas movie ever.
Is it really? Because I did a little research after I heard about it, and isn't it also classified as one of the worst films ever made?
Tomato.
Is it so bad it's good?
Worse than that Plan 9 from Outer
It's so
Space
bad
Away.
it's great. It's up there with The Room.
The Room. I'll have to check that one out too. Man, you're dropping some knowledge on me now.
I know everything that's bad.
Well, hey, you know what? You're a master of something, though.
You got to be master of something.
So you have that on
one
DVD?
time-
Is that something I
Go
can
ahead.
find? Is that something I can find on DVD?
Yes. In fact, I got it for $1 at Target like 5 years ago.
Far out.
And then they tried to give you a free copy of What Dreams May Come, and you were like, I don't want that at all. Right after you picked up your episode or a copy of Roadhouse. So, well, I'm gonna have to borrow that. I gotta borrow that one from you and check that out.
I'll hook you up because it is a Christmas. It's not Christmas without Santa Conquers the Martians.
I don't think I can go home until I find a copy of that and watch it.
I know, for real. I mean, I won't.
Well,
I won't take it from you on Christmas Eve because I know it's your tradition. But any other night, I gotta check it
You
out.
should come over on Christmas Eve. We'll watch it together. It'd be
Nice.
great.
Yeah, sure. Hey,
There you
sounds
go.
like a plan to me. Sorry, and we were invited. We have to go now. It's gonna be
Yeah,
fun.
let's do it. Bring a camera.
Can you dress up?
Or we could do a remote taping of Sean's Humble Opinion.
Nice. Yeah. We'll have a film premiere. So.
Absolutely. It'll be great.
Well, and I mentioned in your CD, Flashlight Tag was actually our intro music tonight.
Is it really?
Don't worry, you'll get it.
I heard. What's that?
Go ahead.
But I heard. I just saw someone put something on Facebook about that, so that's why I was like, I got to call in.
Yeah, definitely.
definitely.
I mean, if they're talking about my album, I need to call in. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
But well, hey man, I appreciate you calling in.
Well, thanks for having me on your show, and
Yeah.
I will talk to you soon. Seriously, come over Christmas Eve, Santa Conquers the Martians.
All right, buddy. I'll be there.
All right, later.
All right, later. Nice. Brian Phelps. He's actually part of Flashlight Tag, so he called in. Very cool. Well, almost coming to an end. We got to start wrapping some stuff up. But
we got a couple of minutes here.
what are some other ones? I know you said your favorite was George C. Scott. I still like Mickey's A Christmas Carol.
Yep.
But that's just me. Talk about your hatred of Christmas music
I
real
would say,
quick.
well, we're on Christmas music if we're talking about
and
Flashlight
I didn't
Tag.
mean that as in like, oh, he's humbug, but
No,
there's
I-
a story behind
Yeah,
that.
I worked in a record store for about 10 years. So from October through probably the first 2 weeks of January, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day.
I think that's enough time for
Oh,
anyone to
right.
hate anything.
Yeah, it was basically nonstop Christmas music and just certain songs. Like if I hear Johnny Mathis sing a Christmas song, I want to punch somebody.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
can't help it.
I could watch Scarlett Johansson movies for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and I think I'd probably only last 12 months.
That seems reasonable.
Anyway, a couple minutes left. Wrapping up, I just wanted to throw out there "War Is Over" by John Lennon, probably my favorite Christmas song. That's just me though. And Porky Pig's "Blue Christmas." If you haven't heard that,
Do yourself
go to
a
the
favor.
Facebook page, Sean's Humble Opinion. It's on there as a link. It's pretty funny. But other than that, Check out the website, www.Sean'sHumbleOpinion.com.
Check out the Facebook page.
Facebook.
Remember to follow on Twitter.
Twitter.
At Sean's_opinion.
Right. Other than that, that's pretty much it.
Thanks to all our callers tonight.
Yeah, thanks for calling
Appreciate
in.
everybody calling and sharing your opinion.
My daughter. I feel bad I didn't get that man's name that reminded. We'll just call him Ernest. Thank you, Ernest. You know who you are. And Brian, thanks for calling in. Look forward to more shows in the future. So,
yep. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy
Be
holidays.
safe. Happy holidays.
Happy Hanukkah.
Whatever you celebrate.
On Christmas Day, on Christmas Day, I saw 3 ships come sailing in. On Christmas Day, in the morning, saw 3 ships come sailing in. Christmas Day.